About a year ago, Lexus finally introduced a new vehicle to America that it has desperately needed for decades, the Lexus TX. This supersized three-row family SUV is built, of course, on the same architecture that also underpins the Toyota Grand Highlander. And like so many other Lexus products, the company offers the TX with a multitude of powertrains. However, this week, we are finally getting our hands on the pinnacle of the TX family in the form of this. This is the 2024 TX 550h Plus, with the Plus meaning this vehicle has a plug-in hybrid powertrain, allowing it to go up to 33 miles of electric-only range. And because it's a Lexus, it also gets a unique powertrain under the hood, a 3.5-liter V6 paired up with 2 electric motors. So as you can see, this week we are going to spend a full week with the pinnacle of the TX family. And the big question I want to answer, for those of you who are looking for a spacious, supersized three-row luxury SUV and you can't decide between getting a hybrid or a fully electric vehicle, how does the brand new TX 550h Plus stack up? Stay tuned to find out. Now, because this member of the TX has a unique powertrain underneath here, I thought I'd pop the hood and show you guys what's powering this thing. Now, as you notice, the hood is held up by a strut, and you're gonna find the only member of the TX that has a naturally aspirated V6, and it makes me happy to see the fact that Lexus is still offering a V6 as opposed to a turbo or naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. So as you can see underneath the hood, you're going to find the company's corporate tried and true 3.5-liter naturally aspirated double overhead cam V6 that runs on the Atkinson cycle that has variable valve timing, of course. It's paired up with 2 electric motors, one at the front and then one at the rear, giving this vehicle direct 4 all-wheel drive. It's a relatively powerful e-axle, and there's no physical connection between the gas engine and the rear axle. The rear axle is powered solely by that electric motor. The gas engine on its own delivers around 259 horsepower, 247 pound-feet of torque. The permanent magnet electric motor at the front delivers around 179 horsepower, while the rear electric motor delivers around 101 horsepower on its own. Combined, Lexus says this system makes a total of 404 horsepower. So that's almost 40 more horsepower versus the TX 500h F Sport Performance, which is designed to be more the enthusiast-oriented model. It draws its power from an 18.1 kilowatt-hour battery pack, delivering up to 33 miles of electric-only range. Now, Lexus doesn't quote a combined torque figure for this powertrain, but the electric motor delivers around 199 pound-feet of torque from the front and 124 pound-feet of torque at the rear. Combine that, of course, with the 247. So this thing feels pretty powerful, especially when you get it out on the road, even if you have a full load of people. It all goes out through an electronic CVT, a continuously variable transmission. So this is the only Lexus TX product to use a CVT. All the other ones have a stepped automatic. Lexus claims the 0 to 60 time is around 6 seconds for this vehicle, around 5.9, I believe. It has a top speed of around 112 miles an hour. All TX models can tow up to 5,000 pounds, just like this version. And because of the heavier, bigger battery, this is the heaviest member of the TX family, weighing in at just under 5,400 pounds. But let's go ahead and close up this hood here and talk about the exterior styling. Now, first of all, this color is called Nightfall Mica. It's a very dark blue that looks gorgeous in the direct sunlight. And you can see the TX in general, when this car first came out, a lot of people, including myself, criticized Lexus because it looks a little bit too similar to a Grand Highlander. And I still pretty much feel that way, even on the pinnacle of the TX family. You can see the F-Sport handling package is not available on this model of the TX, so it only comes with the standard front fascia. You can see all TX versions come with these full LED headlights with LED daytime running lights, LED turn signals. You also get LED fog lights and LED cornering lights. Lexus's premium triple beam LED headlights are frustratingly absent on this model. I'm hoping they will eventually address that for the 2025 model year. You can see the front grille of this car has a new design called Unified Spindle, where it's kind of half open, half closed. You can see there's like a functional crevice here that allows air to pass through to cool the engine. There's your sensor for the Lexus Safety System 3.0. There's also a front camera, integrated parking sensors. On the 500h F Sport Performance, I much prefer the more aggressive front fascia. I kind of wish Lexus would offer the F Sport handling package on the plug-in, but for now you can only get it as this well-equipped luxury trim. Now, moving around the side profile, you can see this is a big vehicle. And by big, I mean it's a good like 8 to 10 inches longer than most of its rivals at 203.1 inches long. This is around 2 inches longer than even the Toyota Grand Highlander with a 116.1 inch wheelbase. So again, Americans wanted a big SUV. Lexus has delivered with this supersized TX. Now you can see the wheel arch trim. I really like how it's completely painted. It's got that full paint finish. And then all TXs, the plug-in hybrids, will come with these luster nickel multi-spoke 22-inch wheels. These are an optional wheel on the TX 350 luxury package for $2,200, but it's included, of course, on the plug-in. It's riding on a 255 by 45 R22 Continental cross contact all season tire. And then you have the bigger brakes from the 500H. So these are the 15-inch rotors at the front, clamped down by 6 piston calipers behind it, with a 13-inch rotor at the rear. 4-wheel disc brakes, 4-wheel independent suspension, but no adaptive dampers and no rear wheel steering. You do find that on the 500H F-Sport Performance, of course. Now, in terms of the ground clearance, Lexus says you have around 7.7 inches with this vehicle, so you can take it a little bit off-roading if you'd like. You can see the mirrors are body colored, chrome trim, power folding, and you also have integrated turn signals. You have chrome along the window trim, chrome for accents for the roof rails, and then this model, for some reason, Lexus does not equip it with a panoramic sunroof or a sunroof in general. I'm not entirely sure why, but I imagine they're going to probably look into adding that for the next model year, or maybe after that. It's kind of like the way the NX plug-in hybrid was. You couldn't get a pano sunroof on it, so hopefully Lexus will rectify that. It should include it at this price point. Looking at the rear, you can see this is where the car has more of the Lexus design cues, their latest design cues. It's got that full-length LED light blade. It's also got full LED taillights. It's got the Lexus badge spelled out boldly at the back. And then this is your only indication, really, that it's a plug-in hybrid. It says TX 550H Plus with Direct 4. And then if you look over here, you can see there's the charge port door. So the other side is the fuel tank door. Here's the J1772 plug. It has an onboard 6.6 kilowatt-hour charger, level 2 charger, which means you can basically empty or fill the tank up, or the battery pack, recharge it from 0 to 100% in roughly 3 hours, which is relatively quick. On a level 1, a standard 110 outlet, you'll probably do it in around 12 hours. So you don't really need a level 2 when you look at this, when you have a vehicle like this, a plug-in hybrid. You can see the rear has a nicely integrated spoiler, third brake light. You still have a rear wiper back here, although I wish it was hidden underneath the rear spoiler or something a little bit more, flush mounted design. You can see the rear bumper looks pretty plain Jane with the integrated parking sensors. Again, the 500H has a more aggressive rear diffuser area. And then looking at the cargo space, one of the things that Lexus was really proud of the fact is you can basically put 6 people in this car, up to 7, but 6 on this trim, and carry all their stuff, because you get a little over 20 cubic feet of space with the third row seat up. Lexus says there's enough space here for 7 carry-on suitcases, so those 20-inch roller bags. I haven't tried it out myself to see if it'll fit, but Lexus has some photos on their website where you can find where it'll allow you to do that. Underneath the floor here, you can see there is a little bit of underfloor storage, although not quite as deep as the other models. You get that standard or included level 1 charger. You got a fix-a-flat kit. You still get a jack, of course. And then if you want to fold down these seats, you basically just push this button. The third row is power folding. The headrest will also fold down. And it's relatively quick. When you fold down this seat, you get around 57 cubic feet of space, which is, again, among the best in the segment. Fold down the second row and it expands to around 97 cubic feet. That's pretty much the same as what you get in the Grand Highlander, and it makes the TX one of the most spacious and one of the most practical vehicles that you're going to find in the luxury 3-row segment. So the exterior of the plug-in hybrid model of the TX looks pretty much identical to other variants of the TX, but let's go ahead and hop into the interior and show you guys what the inside is like. The first thing I want to show you guys, however, is the key fob. You can see this is the current Lexus key fob that they've been using for years. It's their intelligent access fob. It has usual buttons for lock, unlock, power liftgate, and panic. If you push the lock button 3 times and then hold it on the third try, it also will activate the remote start. And then Lexus also offers their digital key function if you're an owner, where you can use your smartphone as a key. Now you can see door handles, like other Lexus models, are fixed into position. This is the digital latch handle where these don't move. There's a pressure pad on the back. That's what you push. It opens the door. If you push that little area there, you can see the mirrors will electrically fold in and the vehicle will lock. Lexus still does not offer a walkaway lock or unlock feature, which I'm hoping at some point Toyota and Lexus will add that. Now you can see my particular test car has a wonderful color combination, the Nightfall Mica with the birch semi-aniline perforated leather seats. These are the standard leather and ultra suede that you get with the luxury package. Real leather, of course. The seats are more of the comfort-oriented variant. These seats are also heated and ventilated. They adjust in 14 different ways. You also have a 3-person memory here on the driver's side. The one thing that is missing, however, are massaging seats. I think at this price point, Lexus should be offering massaging seats, especially on these luxury trim levels. You can see the door panel has a soft touch injection molded plastic here on the upper portion, more of that birch leather that's very plush here on this door panel, padded right here. It's even leather stitched over here, covered, where it's really soft over the Mark Levinson stereo. 21 speakers. The premium audio is standard on this trim. Down here you can see it's hard touch plastic with some storage as well. And then you have that same digital latch door handle there. If you pull that twice manually, that will open it in case the power goes out. Nice high quality window controls, one touch for all four. Nice mirror controls, of course, door lock controls. This door panel does look very bland to me. I think Lexus should have broken this up with more wood. They should have put leather here on this upper portion. So that's one criticism I have for this interior, is the door panel looks a little bit too much like a Toyota. Now getting inside, you can see with just under 8 inches of ground clearance, you have a nice easy step-in height. As I shut the door has a nice solid sounding thunk. And then when you want to turn the vehicle on, I like how Lexus mounts the power button here at the top of the dash so you can easily see it. And then because it's a plug-in hybrid, there's no engine starter noise. It just kind of whirs to life, and it says ready in the instrument panel. You can see all TX models come with the fully digital 12.3-inch display. And then you also get a massive 14-inch touchscreen in the center, which includes their Lexus interface system, which means it has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can see my phone has wirelessly connected via the CarPlay, which is nice. It also has over-the-air updates. Same thing for the Android Auto. And then you can see the plug-in hybrid also includes a heads-up display because it's got the luxury package. There's a soft touch injection molded plastic here on this upper portion. Soft touch here. There's more of that birch leather kind of going, accenting from the door panel over to the middle of the dash. And then you can see there's some silver painted plastic trim. This really should have been aluminum or wood. I really don't like the fact that Lexus is not using as much wood. It is nice and leather covered over here and here, along with the ultra suede. So that feels nice. And I also like how Lexus still gives you these knobs and volume knobs, of course, for the climate. And then you can see the vents are just a traditional sense where you manually adjust that. The steering wheel is the same new Lexus steering wheel we've seen in other models. This has the safety system 3.0, so that's a camera that watches your face to make sure you're paying attention. You also get a power tilt telescoping wheel, which is what you expect in a luxury branded vehicle. You have paddles on the wheel to control the CVT and its virtual ratios. You have high quality controls, of course, for the turn signal, for the windshield wipers. The horn, it sounds pretty average. Appropriately sized given the proportions of this vehicle. I also love the leather here, which feels nice and smooth, high quality. But again, I was just in a Lexus RX plug-in hybrid that had wood on the steering wheel. So this car should have wood on the steering wheel as well. The only wood you're gonna find really is down here. You can see it's like a black ash, dark finished wood, but you really can't see it in this area. So I really think Lexus should be putting wood here, some alloy trim, some wood along the dash. It's a little disappointing. The other thing that's disappointing is the interior ambient lighting in this car at night. I mean, yes, you do have their thematic ambient lighting where you have lighting accents in the door panels and the center console along the footwells, but the RX that I just recently had better ambient lighting across the dash. So I think Lexus really should have, stepped up their quality here for the interior. It does feel a little bit too much like a Toyota, but at least the material quality is solid. It just doesn't have a wow factor. And that's kind of where I see a problem with the TX's interior design. Now you can see wireless phone charging pad is here. You push this button, you can see it reveals the full 360 camera with the perimeter scan. I like the fact that the color almost matches the car. The wheels don't match, however, but you can see that view is kind of useless to me. Most of you will just put the vehicle into reverse. You can see there's your full top-down 360 camera with parking sensors, trajectory, distance markers. It also has front and rear emergency braking, cross-traffic braking, all that good stuff. The quality is also pretty much on par with other luxury brands. And then if you want to go back to the Lexus native system, you can see there's the embedded GPS, which is connected via cloud services. All your usual sources are down here. You can also go to the vehicle information here. You can adjust your drive modes, which, by the way, the drive modes are located here, or you can also tap that. It'll bring up frequently used options along with, swiping over here. You can go into your different drive modes. There's Eco, Sport, and Custom. Go to Sport, you can see the gauge cluster changes to reveal a tachometer. Go to Eco, it has more of a blue accented theme. Normal is, kind of white. You can also customize the way that looks. If you want to do a single dial or you want to do, something that doesn't have any dials, it's just more of a, less, intrusive display where it's just more simplified. I like the fact that you have a fully digital cluster. Remember, the TX was the first Lexus model to get the fully digital cluster. I like this feature here. Slide this open. It reveals some hidden storage, which is a great touch. There's also a 12-volt power outlet down here. This controls the CVT transmission. It's a little finicky, but once you get used to it, you basically push that, go up to go into reverse, push it that way, go down to go to drive, kick it back this way to go into a sport mode, and then push the P to go to park. There's also multiple drive modes here. We can adjust between a hybrid and EV mode, auto, EV, hybrid mode, brake hold, electronic parking brake. There's also a trail feature. for the all-wheel drive system. Remember, it's got an electronic all-wheel drive system. You can turn off the stability control. Padded center console here, which is nice. I like how it opens up in 2 different tiers. Big storage area here. I can actually fit all of my camera equipment in there and then some, which is a nice touch. You also have these really interesting cup holders that pop out, which you can also replace and put into the back seat. This makes them really easy to clean. They also feel relatively sturdy, and they're also a pretty big size. The seats, like I said earlier, semi-aniline, perforated leather, heated and ventilated seats, but they should be massaging. You do have a power thigh extender, which is nice. No memory on the passenger side, but the leather is just super plush. Lexus does really comfortable seats. This car is no exception. I also love the ultra suede accents, which is a nice touch. You can see glove compartment is a bin style. It's damped, but not lined, or damped and lined with felt. The Mark Levinson stereo also sounds fantastic. If you guys are an audiophile, I highly recommend that. You can see digital camera rearview mirror is also included on this trim, which you can also just go back to a standard view if you'd prefer. You have LED map lighting, and then you can see here without the sunroof, it does offer a ton of headroom space, but again, Lexus should be offering that or including it as standard, especially at this price point. So overall, the interior is pretty much the same as other Lexus TX models. It's based, of course, on the luxury trim. But really the only downside is the fact that Lexus does not offer massaging seats or a panel roof. They should be including that, so I'm hoping they'll add that in the next coming model years of the TX. Moving to the back seat of this TX plug-in hybrid, you can see if you guys like captain's chairs in the second row, you better get used to that because you cannot get the bench seat on the plug-in hybrid or the 500h hybrid model. The only TX model that gives you the bench seat is the gas-only version. That's because Lexus says the positioning of the battery pack necessitated them to basically go with captain's chairs, which I don't really know if I buy that. You can see the door panel material has the same soft touch injection molded plastic. You have these manual retractable sun blockers, which is a nice touch. More of that leather here, softly padded over here. Down here, it's hard touch plastic, still the same high quality window controls along with the Mark Levinson stereo. And then you can see that lovely birch leather interior carries over with the ultra suede. And these front seats, or these middle seats, are basically almost as plush as the front seats. Now, if I get back here, you can see the legroom space Lexus says is around 39.5 inches, which 39.5 is a pretty good amount, not quite as much as some of the class leaders, which offer a little over 40 cubic feet of space. You can see these seats do have the ability to slide forward and back. If I pull this little lever here, you can slide the seat forward and back. This is with it all the way back. I can also pull another lever here, that's to fold the seat down. I can also pull this lever here, and that allows me to recline the seat, which again, these captain's chairs, they do offer a ton of adjustability. You can also adjust the armrest here, which is kind of like a ratchet style. You can put it into the exact position you want. You do have rear seat features here, which is nice, including tri-zone climate control, heated and ventilated second row seats. You have 2 USB-C charging ports, a power outlet back down here, which you have to turn on via a little button in the screen. In the frequently used items, you can see your own set of rear seat climate controls, which I really appreciate. You have storage cubbies in each of the front seats, and then you have a center console area here with the same cup holders that pop out that you can clean, which is nice because if you have kiddos back here, they're probably going to likely spill a drink or make a mess back here, so that's definitely a nice touch. Your rear seat vents are located on the ceiling here with some LED map lighting. You can see in terms of the headroom space, tons of headroom back here, so tons of legroom as well. I can easily cross my legs, so you know, if you want to put adults back here, full-size adults, the TX can obviously easily accommodate that. Now, the second row is usually spacious in these type of vehicles, but what about the third row? This is where, again, the TX has a huge advantage over its rivals. Just push this button right here for a second. You can see the seats will hydraulically move forward, and you can see the third row only allows for 2 people back here. I really wish it allowed for 3. That's what limits this car to only 6 passengers. But once I get back here, you can see the space, Lexus claims, this is with the second row all the way back, is around 33.5 inches of legroom. That's a good 2 to 3 inches more than most of its rivals. You can see at 5'7", I can sit back here very comfortably. My knees aren't even pressed up against that seat. The floor is completely flat back here, which I really like. And then in terms of the headroom space, you can see headroom space does come a little bit, you know, low, even for somebody my height. If you're over 6 feet, you're gonna find your head probably getting close to the ceiling. You do have rear seat air vents back here, third row air vents, which is something the Acura MDX does not have. You also have a USB here and a USB here, and you also have this power recline function, which is a nice touch. Nice big window here to give you a view. Nice padded leather armrest area here. Along with some storage and cup holders. So again, it could be space here for a middle passenger, but Lexus decided to just go with 2 seats for comfort purposes. But again, if you're looking for a luxury 3-row that can actually carry adults and puts their stuff back here, the TX is one of the few out there that can do this. And with the plug-in hybrid, it certainly makes for a unique selling proposition. So at this point, I've had a chance to spend a full week with the TX 350 and the TX 500H, but as you can see, this week we are finally spending some extended time in the flagship model of the TX family. This is the 550H Plus, with the Plus meaning this is a plug-in hybrid. It is a unique powertrain to Lexus because you can't get this plug-in hybrid V6 powertrain in the Toyota version of this car, and it's also the first time Lexus is doing a V6 with a plug-in hybrid setup. So we have a 3.5-liter V6 that makes 259 horsepower on its own, paired up with two electric motors, one delivering 179 from the front axle and then 101 horsepower at the rear axle. Combined, we have 404 horsepower. We're starting off with about a 90% charge. This vehicle is showing around 38 miles of range on a full charge, which is higher versus the 33 that the EPA says. Turn off the air conditioning, it goes up to 42, which is actually pretty darn impressive. But let's go ahead and see what we can get 0 to 60 wise. The last time I tested this, I got 6 seconds with 4 people on board when we were at the first drive event. This time I expect it's going to do faster, so let's go ahead and come to a stop. We're in sport mode here, we'll just floor it. Feels pretty quick off the line thanks to that electric motor shove. 5.38 seconds there. That's actually very impressive. That's around 0.6 seconds faster, a half a second faster than what Lexus claims. And remember, I did the same run in the plug-in hybrid version, or in the 500H F-Sport version of this car. On that same stretch, it did 5.8 seconds. So in reality, the plug-in hybrid is the quickest option, and it's quicker by almost a half a second, 0 to 60 wise. And then also remember, the TX 350 with its gas-only engine did it in around 7.3. So obviously the TX 350 is the slowest. This is the quickest entry, and it's about a half a second slower versus the Volvo XC90 Recharge, which is a plug-in hybrid, although it's a much smaller vehicle versus the TX. Let's go ahead and try it here one more time. I just want to see for consistency. This run is a little bit more uphill. I love how seamless the power is. It just puts your foot down, you get the instant pull of the electric motor with the V6 kicking in. 5.7 seconds there, so more uphill, like a 3% gradient uphill. So 5.38 is a pretty impressive time, and it's the quickest version of any of the Lexus plug-in hybrid models. Because remember, if you look at like an NX 450H Plus, it'll do it in around 5.5 seconds. The RX does it in around 5.7. So 5.38 is a very, very respectable time, and it's gonna be fast enough for most people. I'm gonna try it up ahead here in just electric only mode because I wanna see what we can do, when you just have it in electric only mode. Right now I have it in its hybrid mode. I put my foot down. The CVT in this car, which is unique because this is the only TX to use a CVT, is very quick about choosing the correct ratio and putting the engine right in the meat of its power band. It basically seamlessly injects basically the gas power with the electric power combined, and that's where you get that 404. This thing feels quick, and the V6, even though it's paired up with a CVT, makes some nice sounds. I mean, it doesn't have the traditional shifting noises that enthusiasts would probably like to hear, but I do appreciate the fact that it's a V6. Could Lexus have used their 2.4 turbo instead of a V6? Sure, but I'm assuming that they wanted to use a V6 for the sound, for the refinements that you get with a 6-cylinder. So it's nice to see that, they do offer a V6, because this is the only vehicle, I believe, that has a V6 with a plug. I mean, yes, BMW offers it on the X5, but it's technically their inline 6, which is fantastic. But at the same time, the BMW doesn't offer a third row with the plug aspect. So this is also a much bigger vehicle. This is almost 10 inches longer than the BMW X5, so that's something to keep in mind. But in electric only mode, this car only has around 179 horsepower, so that's not a lot. It's gonna slow the vehicle down considerably, but just like the other Toyota plug-in hybrids, you can put your foot down in full EV mode and it will accelerate, basically in pure EV mode, which I really, really appreciate, because other competitors will wake up the gas engine if you go past a certain click point. But I imagine it's going to be considerably slower because it has a lot less power in this mode. So let's go ahead and see what we can get here. It's in sport, we'll just floor it. It feels quick off the line like an EV, but then you put your foot down all the way and you're like, okay, there, it doesn't have very much horsepower for 5,300 pounds of fat. So let's see if we can get to 60 here. Come on, 10.55 seconds there. So it's about half the time when you have it in its pure or in its hybrid mode. So that doesn't surprise me at all that it needs, when you have half the power, essentially less than half the power, you're gonna have a significantly slower 0 to 60 time. But in pure EV mode, you can actually just drive this car around in this mode around town and it feels fine. I mean, yes, you're at highway speeds, you're gonna notice that it doesn't have enough power to really push this car into those highway speeds, but it will do it. And in fact, the electric only mode, you can drive it up to around 80, 85 miles an hour before the gas engine will kick on. So it's, again, very impressive. And it's only when you reach higher speeds, high speeds, like illegal speeds, you shouldn't be driving that fast on public roads, that the gas engine will come on, unless you live in Texas where speed limits are like 80, 85 miles an hour. But just driving the TX normally in sport EV mode, there's no adaptive dampers in this car, but the steering gets a little bit heavier. The suspension is very soft on this car. Even though we're riding on 22-inch wheels, this TX still has a really nice ride quality, which I really appreciate. It actually has a softer ride versus the 500h F Sport that I last drove, and that's because the F Sport has the adaptive suspension with the F Sport tuned dampers, where it's designed to be a little stiffer. You don't have the rear wheel steering in this car, so it doesn't feel quite as sporty, but it's very much what you expect from a vehicle that wears a Lexus badge. It's smooth, it's quiet, it's comfortable. The seats also are very plush. I love the semi-aniline leather. They're heated and ventilated. The one thing I wish this car had was massaging seats. You can get massaging seats in like a Lexus LX and a Lexus LS, a Lexus GX. At this price point, at this pinnacle of the TX family, Lexus should have thrown in massaging seats, and they also should have thrown in a panoramic sunroof. You can get a pano sunroof in other trims, but for some reason, Lexus is not offering it on this car, at least initially. I imagine just like on the NX plug-in hybrid, Lexus will eventually offer more exterior color options, the triple beam headlights and the panoramic sunroof at some point, but just driving the car, in pure EV mode, this is where the TX plug-in is very satisfying because it feels like a fully electric vehicle, albeit not as fast as those electric vehicles, but at the same time, it has plenty of power around town just to scoot along. And in this mode, you're going to do around 38 miles of electric-only range. That's what I was able to get in my real-world testing, which beats the EPA number, which is only 33. Now, when you have it in a hybrid mode, this vehicle will do around 28 mpg in mixed driving. That's what I was getting as well in my real world testing. Combined range is around 400 to 450 miles, although the trip computer in this car was only showing around 320 from the gas only side. I imagine that's because journalists have been driving this car very aggressively. The computers need to reset, but remember, it has a just over a 14-gallon fuel tank, and premium is recommended on this car. You can theoretically run it on regular, but it's a Lexus. You should just run it on premium. It has a pretty small fuel tank anyways. But overall, the TX family has always, I already proclaimed it to be a very comfortable, spacious, and obviously it's most likely going to be reliable three-row family hauler. And choosing between the three powertrains is really going to depend on your personal needs and of course your budget, because this one is the most expensive. But if you can pony up the cash for this car and you're on the fence between deciding between a fully electric or a hybrid vehicle, the plug-in hybrid is a wonderful training wheel, a wonderful stepping stone to kind of give you a taste of the full EV life. And just remember that while you can find other vehicles with a plug in this segment, the TX is definitely going to be the most spacious and actually give you the ability to carry up to 6 people, 6 on this trim in comfort, and also bring along most of their stuff. So if you guys are truly on the fence between going gas or fully electric and you need something that can carry up to 6 or 7 people and all their stuff, the TX 550h Plus is truly the best of both worlds. Just like the other TX models, this is one of the most spacious 3-row luxury SUVs that you're going to find. It doesn't surprise me, of course, because the Grand Highlander is also among the most spacious that you're going to find in the mainstream segment. But really, the plug-in hybrid version of this car is a unique entry because, again, it's the only Lexus model that has a V6 with a plug-in hybrid powertrain. It's the only vehicle in this segment that also has a V6 with a plug-in hybrid powertrain. I mean, I guess you could also look at the BMW X5, which has an inline-6 turbo with a plug-in hybrid, but the BMW X5 no longer offers a third row. It's about a foot shorter, around 10 inches shorter versus the TX, and it really doesn't compete because BMW doesn't offer an X7, which is the size of this vehicle, with a plug-in hybrid powertrain. And I have to say, after spending a full week with the plug-in hybrid version of the TX, everything that I like about the regular TX is still present here. It also adds to the fact that this is the quickest accelerating version of the TX. You guys saw 0 to 60 in just under 5.4 seconds is mighty quick. In electric only mode, it takes around 10.5 seconds, which is obviously slow on paper, but you'll be surprised when you drive this vehicle that you can just drive it around town in pure EV mode. You can enjoy over 35 miles of electric only range. At least that's what I got in my actual testing in these really ideal weather conditions. And you can also do around 400 to 450 miles of range between the electric motor or between the battery pack and the gas tank. So that's roughly twice the range of something like a fully electric 3-row SUV. So there's a lot to like here about the TX. If you can get past its Toyota Grand Highlander-like styling and an interior that doesn't have as much wood and luxury appointments that you expect from a Lexus, it's still a very plush interior. It just doesn't look quite as expensive as other Lexus models. There are still plenty of reasons to go for the TX. Now, when you look at the pricing of this vehicle, the plug-in hybrid version did go on sale sometime early this year, so it was a little bit delayed versus the other members of the TX family. Last year, Lexus sold just under 10,000 TX vehicles here in the US. Around 168 of those have been the plug-in hybrid version. So again, it was kind of a very slow rollout. If you want a regular TX, those start at around 55 grand, but the plug-in hybrid only comes in the fully loaded luxury trim, which means it starts at just over 78 grand. My particular test car has the convenience and technology package, the extra charge for the Nightfall mica paint. With destination, it comes into around $82,754. So again, over 80 grand for a TX sounds really expensive, but keep in mind, I also recently tested a Volvo XC90 Recharge, which is smaller than this vehicle. It does offer 3 rows. It also offers around 30-ish miles of electric-only range. It has more power, but the Volvo was over $87,000. So again, 5 grand more than the TX, and it doesn't offer as much space on the inside. There's also the Kia EV9 GT line, which I recently tested, which again, it's a Kia. You can't really compare a Kia badge with a Lexus badge, but the Kia had enough luxury and technology to be confused for a luxury brand, and it was also around 80,000 bucks for the Kia, but it only does around 270 miles of range, and the Kia is slightly faster, but still 5.4 is certainly nothing to sneeze at. So again, if you guys are on the fence between going fully electric or going with a gas-powered vehicle or a hybrid vehicle, the TX plug-in hybrid is really kind of the best of both worlds. And it also offers the additional space that you expect for your family, along with the luxury and reliability or reputation for reliability that the Toyota and Lexus brand is known for. But with all that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the 2024 TX 550h Plus. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.